Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It is Wake Up Wednesday. And on Wake Up Wednesday, we focus on the importance of being intentional. Intentionality. It's a big word that has a big effect on how our lives unfold. If we begin our day with intention, that means we have a plan. We intend to accomplish something with our day. If we have intention in our lives, that means we have goals that are set and we're willing to do the work necessary to bring those goals from dreams into reality. So intention is huge. We're going to start with the quote. We're already sharing it here, and it's intentional living starts with understanding your values, crafting a vision, and taking purposeful actions every day. And that's Joshua Becker. Intentional living starts with understanding your values, crafting a vision, and taking purposeful actions every day. So, how about that? It to me, that's a perfect quote when we're thinking about Wake Up Wednesday. Understanding your values. It is so important that the goals that we have crafted for ourselves, the things that we're striving for, align with our values. Why is that important? If they don't, what's the likelihood of you really going forward, really working through them? And what's the likelihood of you being satisfied if you accomplish them? If your goals are aligned with your values, then you're working towards things that really matter to you, things that are important to you, and they feel good when you've accomplished them. A lot of our lives are spent working towards what others people have set for us. Hold on, kids, y'all keep it down. I'm not in my office today, so y'all are gonna have to be quiet. Thank you. So, yeah, we've got construction going on in my house, so I'm out in the open. I can't close myself off. So, who knows? Who knows what you got? What you may hear today? Say hi to the people. Say hi.
Hi.
Say good morning. All right. Did you find your cheer outfit?
It's not in there.
So what is okay?
So I'm gonna start looking for it after school.
All right. Well, y'all have a good day.
That's it.
Bye.
Bye, Granny. Love you.
I love you too. So, when you are intentional and when you know what your values are, you are able to move through the things that arrive, however they show up. You're able to move through them differently. A little more grace, a little more calm, less anxious. The old me would have been really stressed if there was background noise because I was so focused on getting everything right. But when I think about my values, the most important thing to me is my family. So, how can I, on one hand, say that my family is important to me and then be so upset with them if when they show up, right? So it helps you to actually think through these things. Sometimes we have default behaviors, default feelings, and we haven't put enough thought into them to actually be able to arrest some of the things that are not working well for us. I'm telling you guys, the old me would have been like, be quiet, just so tense and stressed. And now it's like it's a normal part of life. COVID helped with that because I had to work from home. And so my kids ended up on international meetings and talking to my VPs and all kinds of stuff because that's what was happening in life. And then you see Brian has made it on the set, our dadpreneur. He models that every day for us. Whenever his daughter is around, it is clear to anybody who pays attention that that is the most important thing that's going on, is whatever she's bringing to him, and she's the most important person. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care about showing up well for us, doesn't mean that he's not going to be professional in his job, but it does mean that he's made a conscious decision to say to his daughter that there's nothing that takes priority over you. And that's a great lesson to learn. You don't have to follow his pattern, but know what your pattern is. What are your values? What aligns with those values? And then when you act accordingly to those, when you're in that sort of alignment, everything works better, everything feels better. When things are a little out of whack, like my whole life is right now, because I'm living in a construction zone, but you just manage it all better because you know what's important. It's more important for me to show up and have a conversation with you guys than for it to be in my office and have my lighting and all the bells and whistles that have come over time as I've done this for a long time. I like those things. It gives me a certain look, it gives me a certain feel. It's a part of the progression that I've made since I started with just my one little laptop and pre-recording videos. But it's not the important thing. That's all the wrapping. But the message and us coming together and you guys engaging with us, that's the gift that's inside the beautiful box. The gift's more important than the box, right? But sometimes we have to remind ourselves, what are my values? What is most important in this moment? Right before we came on a few minutes late, because right before I was starting the live, my internet went down. And it didn't matter how many times I tried to reconnect, I just couldn't. And so I said, all right, so I can't use my laptop, I can't use my iPad. I'm relegated to my phone. So guess what? I'm talking to you guys from my phone, but I have I have a lot to be grateful for because I'm not holding my phone. I have a nice cage for it. It actually has lights on each side of it. So I can, even in the moments when things don't work well, I can still find something to be grateful for, and I can focus on what is working versus what isn't working. Because if I wasn't talking about it, you guys wouldn't really know. You know that the background is different if you pay that close of attention. I'm not sitting where I usually sit, but I'm on a little bitty phone screen and everything's tiny. So what? I'm able to still keep going. We're still able to have this time together. And so in all the chaos, I'm excited. I'm grateful because I know that what it is that I intend to do is still happening. How it's happening may be a little different, but I didn't allow myself to get caught up in the chaos of it all and to become frustrated and throw it aside and go, well, I guess we just can't do it today. I'll put up a message, or I'll reach out to the Fam Five and say, hey, can you guys take this over today? Because things just aren't working well. Those were options. But because I'm intentional, this is what I do this time of day, unless there's, something that takes priority. And not only am I intentional, but this aligns with my value system. So it's important for me to show up, right? And so it makes it so much easier. So I was able to take purposeful action. Go dig through your office because it's total chaos. There's furniture on top of furniture. See if you can find the cage that your phone sits in. And literally, guys, the leg. It's three-legged, and the legs have these little red tips on them. And I saw one little red tip sticking out of that mess upstairs that used to be my office. And I think that's it. And I grabbed it and pulled it out without trying to have the avalanche collapse. And here we are. And purposeful steps, that extra is like, all right, I'm going to be a few minutes late because I've got to set things up differently, but we're still here. And I'm just as joyful today, maybe a little bit more, because I have not been defeated. With everything that's going on, I'm still able to show up. I'm still able to walk in my purpose. I'm still aligned with my value system. I don't know what's going to happen behind me. The husband's still getting ready for work. There may still be kids in the house. I'm not sure. The contractors will be here in a little bit to get back to working on the floors. So who knows? But what I do know is we're going to continue to have this conversation. We're going to focus on the being intentional, and anything that comes up, I guarantee you will add to the conversation. It will feed into what we're discussing because that's how life is if you allow it to be that way. Everything has a purpose. Everything can be used for your good if you're thinking in that way, right? And so I'm just looking at all of this crazy around me going, and Brian and I were talking about it maybe yesterday or the day before, how before things get better, they often have to get worse. Think about cleaning, especially when you're going through that organizing time. You've got a closet, or you're ready to reorganize your kitchen, or whatever the case may be. You're pulling everything out. It's total chaos first. And then from the chaos, You start putting everything in its place. You've cleaned everything really well. You've got the spit and shine on everything. And now you're putting things back in order the way that you would like them to be. So the chaos is a part of the process if you allow it to be. A lot of us, the chaos becomes an obstacle that shuts us down, but it's not a period. It's a comma. It's like, all right, pause. How are we going to work through this and still get to our intended objective, our definite objective? How do we keep moving towards that? Right? You pause, you think, and then you get right back in the game. You work around, you have you ever heard you play the hand that you're given? If you've ever been a card player or gone to Vegas, or I've heard it in so many different, you play the hand that you're given. And people who are really good at playing their cards may not have the highest value cards in the deck. But because they're strategic, because they're intentional, because they use their wisdom, they may end up outplaying somebody who had a better hand. Happens all the time. You may have a good hand, and you may have been born with a good hand. But if you rest on that, if you don't develop your skills, if you don't align with your purpose, if you don't get in the game and play, your hand becomes, it doesn't matter much, right? You're not doing anything with it. You have to be in the game to win. So intentional living starts with understanding your values, crafting a vision. What do I see for myself? What do I intend to accomplish today? What am I trying to craft for the life that I've been gifted? And then when you're clear about that, you've got that vision, you start to take those purposeful steps. And that's the part where a lot of us fall off. We can't dream forever. We have to wake up. We have to wake up and roll our sleeves up and get to work and do the things that are necessary to accomplish the things that we say that we want. Because it's in the saying, the seeing, and the doing that we actually accomplish. So don't get stuck in the seeing for too long. Action is required. You have to get to the doing as well. So we have quite a few comments that have come in. Let me recognize those, and then I will read the quote one more time, and then we're going to go over to you, Jay. So my mom, who slept through us yesterday morning, made it out of bed, and here she is. So she says, "Good morning, everyone." Welcome, Mother. Dr. Marcia said, "Good morning, Mindset Queen." Good morning, Dr. Marcia. Conchita says, "Wonderful Wednesday to all. It's going to be an amazing day." It absolutely is going to be an amazing day. Why? Because you've purposed that in your mind. You have decided that it's going to be an amazing day. That's how powerful we are. That is how powerful, despite what's going on around you, you can have an amazing day if you so choose. So choose wisely, guys. Realize what you're thinking and how you're thinking, and where that's not working for you, reframe it. Talk that negative self-talk down, arrest it, put it in its place, and reframe it with something that's going to serve you, and get to work living the life that you deserve and you desire. Let's see. Good morning, Coral from across the pond. Lisa said, "Good morning, Fam Five." Conchita said, "Family first." Absolutely. LinkedIn user, I can't see who you are this again, but this time it's the message is when real life happens. Absolutely. Joanne, my mom says, "Amen. Be grateful." Good morning, Kim. She says, "Absolutely. You rock." Let's see. Afolabi, hello from Nigeria. Hello, cousin. My bloodline is from Nigeria. That's all I know at this point. But everybody from Nigeria, you're my cousin, at least from a DNA perspective. So welcome, cousin. Kim says, "Love it." Dr. Marcia, let's see. Let's put this one up. Strategic, intentional, and wise. Crucial skills for intentional living. Absolutely. Let's see. Conchita said, "Background is just that, the back." Oh, I like this. Background is just that, the back. You are the focal point, Cassandra, and your light is shining brightly this morning. Oh, she was talking about me being in a different, when I mentioned being in a different space. Yeah, it is. You're right. It's the back. I don't know if I'm the focal point, but this conversation of us all together is definitely what it is all about. And I'm so grateful for each one of you guys being here. Martha, welcome, says, "Good morning." Dr. Marcia, totally support that intentional is not enough. Willpower needs action. Absolutely. And Conchita, my mom Joanne said it is an amazing day. All right, so lots of comments, which makes me super happy that know that you guys are hanging in with us and you're engaged in the conversation. That's the gift in the box. Everything else is the pretty wrapping, but in the box is the conversations that we're having, the lessons that we're all learning, and the opportunity for us to engage and move forward together. So thank each one of you guys for your gift. Back to the quote: intentional living starts with understanding your values, crafting a vision, and taking purposeful action every day. Joshua Becker. So, with that, Jay, over to you for you to share whatever's on your heart this morning.
Thank you, Cassandra. Sure. And as I always do, I start out with a Bible verse. And it's a Bible verse I've read before, but I'm going to read it again because I think it's really poignant for today. It's
Okay.
Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Let me read it again. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. In this world where everything is, you say it all the time. Um, we live in a. Somebody says it. Is it you?
It's it's
Where
it's
it's
Brian.
we
Are you
live in
talking
a.
about a microwave world? That's
That's right.
Brian's
Yeah,
quote.
that's Brian's quote.
He's talking about
I
the
remember.
microwave and the crock pot.
That's right. We live in a microwave society, but it's a crockpot world for real.
Mm-hmm.
And so that to me stands out. We have to be intentional every day, absolutely. And my intention today is to be here in support of the Fam Five and the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Both my wife and I are sick. When you have people over for Thanksgiving and they stay over for a day or two, they may be bringing something with them other than the food. Um, and so my household is down with the crud. Um, and I also have other family members living abroad who are ill and in the hospital. But that should not deter me from showing up for the people who rely upon me. And that means my family here and my family online, and those um, that really would need some help if they needed it. I would give it to them. And so this is me showing up. This is me showing up and showing out, like they say here in the South. You got to show up and show out, and especially for the people who show up and show out for you. And so this is what I'm doing. Um, and for those who look to us every day for inspiration, who look to us for some insider perspective on how they can start their day. And so I don't take this responsibility lightly. And so with intention, I'm here showing up for not just the Fam Five, but for the audience as well, the people who want to hear the word and to gain some perspective on it. And so one of the things I do every day is um, read that Bible verse so that we can have some sort of divine thoughts on how we can start our day. But I also start off, and I say this all the time, with a short little prayer, and it's thank you, God. What gift do you have for me today? And then I ask, how can I be a gift to others? And that to me starts my day of intention. Um, every day is intentional. I have to. I I spoke to a mentee of mine several days ago, and I said, um, you know, we're at the age now where every little moment counts.
Mm-hmm.
Every little moment counts. counts. We've seen a lot of things in our lifetime, and hopefully we can have many more that we can look back to again. But life, our life is finite on this earth. Now we can look to our heavenly life, but in this moment, in this plane, in this time, we have to live intentionally. And the older we get, we're getting closer to being closer to God. And how do we reconcile our life, up until this point? And how we do that is we try to correct the things that we've done in the past, and going forward going forward, trying to make sure that we don't repeat those mistakes. And you have to do it with intention. And so that's the message today that comes out for me. This is something that I think about on a daily basis. I'm not a perfect person, don't get me wrong, but I try to make sure that I live with intention, to make sure that I'm having a positive impact on the people who surround me and the people who rely upon me. Back to you, Cassandra.
Love that. Love that. And there's a couple of comments for you. Conchita said, "Thanks, Jay, for the word. Proverbs 21:5 is so timely for today's state of affairs in every aspect." And Coral said, "I love you sharing the Bible verse." So that always resonates well with the audience. Um, and it's a part of what we know and expect is coming. When your time comes around, we know the message is grounded in the word, which in and of itself gives value, the real value to the message, right? And a lot of times, you guys will see us where I know I do it, and we talk about it sometimes in our meetings, is where it's like my brain shuts off and the words are coming out, but they don't feel like my words, and I don't even necessarily remember what I've said, everything that I've said at the end of a broadcast. Um, I realized how much that was true when I had to be out before the Fam Five joined me, and I had to be out because my daughter was having surgery, and so I was posting some replays. And it was a new experience when I played some of them back. I didn't remember those conversations and the things that I've said, and I'm glad about that because I don't want this to be us, other than the verses and the quotes. I don't want this to be us reciting some script to you guys. I believe in being a vessel and allowing what to come up to come out because I think it's divinely directed. And so all our verses and our quotes are just to set the tone of the conversation. So we have a starting point. And then from there it goes where it goes. And I absolutely love that. So the one thing I will say to you, Jay, I did see you struggling a little bit. There was some deep swallows and some pauses because you are sick. And as much as I appreciate you showing up for the Fam Five and showing up for the audience, you have to show up for you first and take care of yourself. So it will never be any knock on your character, on your work ethic, on your support. There's no knock in any way. We know without a shadow of a doubt, if you're not here, something big is happening. So understand that we know that. And I want you to give yourself grace and space to heal so you bounce back well, and don't feel like you absolutely have to be here every day. You're absolutely wanted every day, but I would much rather you take care of yourself and your family and everything that you guys have going on, free of any type of guilt or obligation. Sometimes showing up for work is a reprieve for us. It gets us away from everything that's going on. But I saw you struggling. And so if you don't feel well, know that we're praying for you and we're holding and lifting you up, and we totally understand if you need to take a break while you and the family heal. Okay. I'm gonna need you to unmic and say okay out loud.
All right, Captain.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. We had a couple. Let's see. My mom says, yes, that's how you start, Jay. Scripture. When you have God in it, you will win it. Keep on keeping on. Oh, Brian, you got some competition for your Dr. Seuss ways. When you got God in it, you will win it. So
Right.
you better watch out, Mom. The rhyming, that's Brian's thing. I don't know if he wants to share that. All right. And then she says, that's because the words are not coming from you. What you all are doing is really ministry. Conchita says, Cassandra, it's evident that the Fam 5 conversations are divinely inspired. Thus, my reason for showing up to be inspired. Thank you all for being obedient to the Holy Spirit. Conchita, thank you for recognizing that because it's so much bigger than us. It's bigger, it's so much bigger than five. You know, if we're the Fam 5, we know that there's at least 6 of us because we do invite Christ into every single thing that we do. So thank you so much for recognizing and for saying that. And Jay, I'm sure this is. Oh yeah, my mom says, Jay, take care of yourself. Big old exclamation point. You've already proven your character and integrity. You're the best. 3 hearts. All right, so my mama and Jake, they got this thing, y'all. They got this thing. My daddy got this thing for Brian. My mama got this thing for Jay. So, I just have to get in where I fit in. The Fam 5 is taking over. Which is such a beautiful thing. I mean, it just, there's so much, what's the word, Jay? Where you talked about alignment. There's so much alignment. When we get the time to sit and talk and share our stories, we just find out there's just more and more in common. We did a little bit of history, and Jay's family on his wife's side, right? And my family actually share some DNA. I told y'all we'd have extra scenery today. I was the husband scrolling by. So yeah, so Jay and my family, which my mom said from the very beginning, she was like, "Oh, that's my extra son right there." Little did we know that once we retraced where he's living and where my family is from, we found some of my family members in his family. So there's actually a DNA connection between us. So, but we found each other on LinkedIn. Who'd have thunk it? It's just amazing. It's just amazing. All right, let me go back to the quote and then we're going to go over to Brian to get his thoughts. Intentional living starts with understanding your values, crafting a vision, and taking purposeful actions every day. Joshua Becker. All right, Brian, what does that bring up for you?
It reminds me of a conversation Jay and I were having
Uh-oh,
late last
I'm not
night.
hearing you, Brian. You may be muted or you may actually be having audio issues. I'm not sure.
Oh, he came through. I heard him.
Oh, you heard him, so it's me. Okay, well, you go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry about that.
No sweat. So it reminds me of a conversation Jay and I were having last night about being intentional for the new year and the things that we were going to do individually and as a group, and how we could be more intentional about those things. What we could do to make sure that our efforts were successful. One thing stands out when I think about being intentional: simplicity. The more things you add to whatever it is that you're doing, the more complex that situation becomes. I like to call them moving pieces. A friend of mine, the guy that really taught me how to operate heavy equipment, he would always have these grand ideas, these schemes for making money. I'd be like, man, that's just too many moving pieces right there, man. Too many moving parts. I just don't see that happening. It's going to be hard for you to be intentional when you got so many different things scattered all over the place. Simplicity breeds intentionality because you know what you're doing. You know what you've got to do. When you got too many things going on, it's so hard to be intentional because you get lost in the shuffle. You get lost in the things that you have to do. So today I just want to remind everyone to, keep it simple. Keep it simple as you can possibly keep it. Keep it simple, smarty. That's what I tell my daughter because she's the master of doing everything at one time. And I'm not talking about Bree. I'm talking about Brick. She is the master of doing everything at one time. I'm like, keep it simple, smarty. I know you're smart, but you're not gonna be able to do all this stuff at one time. You got to focus. Focus requires simplicity. So be simple and be focused. That's intentionality. That's intentionality for me.
Love that. All right, so you upgraded the KISS acronym. So I say keep it simple, sweetheart. Keep it simple. I love that. And it reminds me of, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. When you try to shove that whole thing in, you're uncomfortable, you get overwhelmed, and before you know it, you're stuck and you're not able to move forward. But if you can take consistent bite-sized steps day in and day out, that's not only going to get you to where you want to go, but it's going to prepare you to win in that space and keep going forward. All those bite-sized steps, just think about it like reps in the gym. If you go into the gym once and you pick up a 300-pound weight, first of all, you probably will have injured yourself. But then, so what? You picked it up once, you've put it down, and now you're back to your routine. But if you get a weight that's more appropriate for your abilities and what you're trying to accomplish, and you do those reps every single day, what was 5, now you're able to do 10. Before you know it, you're doing 20 and 25. And then this is getting too easy, and I can add more weight. So now I'm back to doing a fewer number because what I've picked up is heavier, and I build up my ability to do that. And you go through that same cycle. I can do more. I can do more. Oh, it's time to upgrade. I can add more weight. When we do that, we're not only getting to where we want to go, but we're prepared for what that area is going to bring us. We're prepared to handle what's coming our way. We see it all the time with people who have these big financial windfalls, the lottery, an insurance policy, whatever it is comes in and they have all this money all of a sudden for the first time in their lives. But because they never learned the skills of money management, it's like water right through their hands. The money is gone within a year or so, and they're right back in financial difficulties because they didn't have the skills to manage the windfall. So a windfall is not always the best thing for us because we mismanage what we don't know how to do if we're not tapped in and we realize there's some skills that we need. If you get the windfall in whatever part of your life and you don't know what to do with it, and you tap in and you get the training that you need, you develop the skills that you need so that you do manage it well. You pause, you evaluate, where am I with this? Can I really handle it? And if not, what do I need to do? What new skills do I need? What new habits should I develop so that I can not just have this, but maintain it and even grow it? That's what those little bitty incremental steps do for us. They transform us, they change how we move through the world, and they build new skills and muscles and habits. And now we're able to keep going. And then we're able to add more weight, do more reps, and we're prepared for what has come our way. So don't despise small beginnings. Wherever you are right now is where you are right now. Take a good look at where that is. Take a hard look at where it is that you're trying to go. That's the vision, right? So know what your values are, set those goals aligned with those values, and see what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Now you've crafted the vision. And then the work is, how do I get from point A to point B? What's the plan that I have? What are the actionable, purposeful steps that I need to take in order to get there, right? And when you are moving through life that way, with whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, everything has to get out of your way. You will be successful because you're doing all the right things. It may take you longer than you'd like, But when you're there, you're actually able to manage the extra responsibility. You can handle the weight of whatever it is that you've just accomplished. And you do that for a while, it becomes easy. And now you're ready for more reps and eventually more weight. And it just keeps going because we're ever evolving if we allow ourselves to be, right? So those bite-sized steps, day in, day out, being intentional about what those steps are, ensuring that they align with your values, having a vision for where it is that you're trying to go, creating that roadmap so you know how you're going to get there, celebrating along the way. Those are the things that's what intentional living looks like. That's what it looks like. Even in your family time, your downtime, you have to plan for that. Otherwise, you miss it. You miss it. We can fill up every single moment of every day with stuff to do. But is that going to align with your values? What are if you think about your values as the top three things that are non-negotiables, they are the most important things to you and they have to be. What are those? Do you know? It's important that you do because that's a part of your measuring stick. That's a part of your assessing whether or not you're going to move forward with something. That will help you. That will become a part of your why. When things get tough, you don't get lost in the fact that it's difficult. You remember your values. You remember why you're doing it, and it helps you to keep moving forward. So today's quote was just a powerful one for me today, and I'm glad we've had a chance to walk through it. I see we've got a few more comments that have come in. Paulette from Las Vegas and California saying good morning. My mom, my biggest cheerleader, she says, "Speak, daughter." And Paulette says yes. And Christy, hi. Christy and I worked together for some years now. It's great to see that you were able to join for a bit, Christy. We need to catch up. All right, so we're going to close with the quote for today. Before we do, Brian or Jay, did either one of you guys have any final thoughts? Anything that still needs to be said?
I think your advice to me is also very important. You um, even though my intention is to be there for others, I need to be there for myself so that I can show up for others. Because what happens if I overspend the coins that I've got? I
Mm-hmm.
can't live on credit.
Right,
I need
right.
I need to bring it, and if I can't bring it, I need to sit down, relax, take a break, and then recoup. Absolutely. So thank you for
And know
reminding
that
me of
we
that.
are cheering you on and sending you love and light because we want healthy Jay. We want Jay that feels good. Even when you're not at your best, you brought so much value. But I think the real message for you and from you today is the importance of taking care of yourself. Don't be so lost in your good doing that you forget that it begins with you. Take good care of yourself. Your family's been through a lot. It's when we are grieving and when we're in stressful situations, our immune system's down anyway, so we're even more likely to get sick. So just take the time to recuperate. We'll be here and we'll be in touch, and we'll expect that we won't see you tomorrow, and that's a-okay. Brian, did you have anything you wanted to share? Any closing remarks?
Jay, go get some rest. That's all I
Yep.
have. We talked about it last night. You got to take care of yourself. You have to take care. Intentionality starts with being intentional internally. You have to be purposeful with yourself. You have to be mindful that you can't take care of anyone if you're not around to do the taking care of. So take care of yourself, man. Go get you some rest.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the audience is agreeing. I see Coral, I see my mom, I see Conchita, Dr. Marcia, everyone saying yes, Jay. My mom says we love you, Jay. Conchita says self care is the best care. Take time to rest and reset. Coral says we love you, Jay. So the love is coming in from everywhere. And so is the noise from the kitchen. My husband's on the phone, I think. So the timing is perfect for us to shut it down. So we are going to close with the quote, and we will be back here tomorrow, some of us, at the same time, 7:15 Central, for Thankful Thursday. We love you too, Jay. Take good care of yourself and give Renee and the family a hug for us. So we're going to close. You guys join us back here tomorrow and bring somebody with you. Tomorrow at 7:15 a.m. Central is Thankful Thursday. We're going to close with intentional living starts with understanding your values, crafting a vision, and taking purposeful action every day. And that was by Joshua Becker. So that's our assignment for today. That's our assignment. Make sure that the things that we're doing are aligning with our values. Have a vision for your day and your future, and then be willing to roll up your sleeves and take the steps necessary to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. And you will get there one intentional, purposeful step at a time. All right, guys. Bye for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Central, for the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Thank you for joining. Thanks, everyone.